Philadelphia, come get yourself a little bit of TGIG. Now, if you don't know what that means, your boy Ty Asbury and Off the Top Rope is going to let you know what that means. Thank God it's Gabby. Live on my show, Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, CEV Sports Podcast Network. Philadelphia's own Gabby Gilbert joins your boy Ty Asbury. She's wrestling in Shine Wrestling. She's a tag champion. This is one lady that you definitely want to watch on a Friday night episode of Off the Top Rope, because it's going to be sizzling. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch the best wrestling podcast around with some sizzle, it is Off the Top Rope. Yeah. It's Friday night, and of course, you know what's going down. It is Off the Top Rope live on this Friday night, and we all know it is TGIF, but tonight we are doing TGIG because, like I said, thank God it is Gabby, Philly's own Gabby Gilbert. So it's your boy Ty Asbury. She is here waving. Gabby, what is up?
Hi! I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an honor. Thanks for coming on the show. We actually been talking a long time about you coming on the show. Tonight we finally get it done, and pretty much you're doing a lot of things in wrestling, and that's why I want to talk to you about what's up with you in wrestling and where are we going from here. Like I said, you're a tag champion, you're a world champion. Like, does it ever stop with you?
I hope not, honestly. I mean, I feel like I've been doing this for 20 years now. Gosh, aging myself, but like I still feel like I have like yet to do half the stuff that I wanted to do. So like hopefully we still get another 20 years out of this. I'm gonna be like Mae Young and Bull. I'm gonna be doing this when I'm like 89 years old and I just won't stop.
That's really like crazy. Like 20 years. Like when you look back, like when you first started training, like the first time you stepped through the ropes to start training to be a wrestler, like do you still get like those goosebumps that you're finally here? Because as we all know, being a wrestler is not easy. So do you still get goosebumps like, damn, I'm still doing this like 20 years later?
I do. I still do. And like I like heard the thing where it's like once you don't feel nervous anymore, you shouldn't be doing it anymore. And I still feel nervous. Some matches are a little more nervous than others. But I still get it. And now like I'm a trainer myself, and so like I see the new kids come in and they have that same feeling and the same drive, and then it like pushes me and motivates me all over again. Like when I started, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like talking to my kids like we're on the same level, and like, yeah, and when we just start, we're gonna do this. They're like, you've already done stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, now it's your turn.
Now, you brought up a really good point about like pretty much training yourself, and people who pretty much like to know, who love wrestling and aspiring wrestlers. When you mean training yourself, like how does that work as far as like training yourself? Of course, because you need somebody to train you to be a wrestler, of course. But how, like in terms of training yourself, that's really interesting.
So like when I'm training the others, and it's like training myself is hard too, but it like it's like you go and learn. I feel like I learned more training other people. Is crazy because it's almost like you didn't realize how much you knew until it's time for you to tell other people. And because like I have a certain style, and like I don't always do everything that I want to do, or my body can't physically do it, but it doesn't mean I can't teach the kids that. And it's just really neat, like, and it's like the psychology of everything, just the physicalness of everything, and it's I'm getting a whole new like motivation, just like from a different angle of learning everything. Like I'm trying to learn everything in the backstage stuff as well, and so it's awesome. Like that's another thing I just love about wrestling, because you can never stop learning, and there's always something to know, and you'll just never stop learning, and I love it. So
now we all know, of course, we all have pet peeves. I mean, people get mad when somebody leaves dishes on the counter. We all have them. Now, what's one pet peeve of yours that you get mad at yourself when you're training yourself, and what really like drives you crazy when one of your students isn't like? What's a pet peeve if you're a student of Gabby Gilbert?
If my pet peeve of my own students, I don't know, they're really good kids, so I don't know. I think it's like they just don't bring a towel. It is the hottest day of the summer and you're sweating. Bring a damn towel and towel off in between. Like, it's gross. It's but not even like that it's gross. Like, we're gonna get sweaty, it's gonna happen, but like, especially when it's gotten so hot this summer, like you need a towel off. Like, that's when people slip and get hurt over stupid things, because you're sweaty and dripping, like people are slipping in sweat, like that's when it's a little gross, and it's like a little pet peeve of mine. Bring a towel, stop being so gross and sweaty. But it means they're working very hard, so I'm very proud of them for that.
I can see your face now. You say, "Did you bring a towel?"
Every day, even now it's cold out, I'm still like, "You bring a towel," because I work them hard and they are sweating, and it's like, you still need to bring a towel. No, they don't. Most of them do. They remember. Maybe they'll get them Christmas presents so everyone gets a towel.
Now, when you're training by yourself, what drives you crazy? Where you're like, oh, you think you say to yourself, Gabby, I could have did that better, or what are some things that really piss you off and drive you through the roof?
Honestly, like I feel like I got stuck in like a habit of like doing certain things, and then I'm like, I need to break out of that habit, because you always need to evolve in wrestling, and if you don't evolve, and then you're just stale, and so there's that, and I just don't I feel like if I'm by myself, I don't push myself as hard, but I'm glad I have great people around me that push me, and so hopefully we'll see a lot new stuff coming this next year, so we'll see what happens. There's a couple different sides of Gabby, let's just say that, and we've only seen a couple.
Well, that's a good thing.
There's a lot more to Gabby than just tickle monsters.
Well, that's a good thing, because, like you said, there's two different sides of you, and I really think wrestling fans, they love to see different sides of wrestlers, because I think wrestling fans, I guess you said they can get bored very easily, so I think they like when characters change or just change up. It seems like you got yeah, like.
But I feel like some of it too is just you see that more out of wrestlers that are in companies that keep them there for a long time and let stories play out and stuff, and see where these people go and these characters change, and there's a reason for that. And I think that's a hard thing in indie wrestling in general, and plus like in women's wrestling, that's even like harder, because it's like so hard to get girls to begin with, even though there's a lot more around anymore, which I love. And but still, just to keep everybody in one place for a long time to tell a story is hard.
Now, actually, I'm about to ask you the main question. How does it feel right now? Because this is your first debut episode on my podcast. So how you feeling about that?
I'm loving it. This is awesome. I'm so excited. It's been forever. I don't know why we haven't done this before. Just scheduling, I think, right? And then
probably scheduling.
Here we are.
Now, of course, you have fans that are watching live. They love.
Wait, I have fans?
Oh, of course, you got fans.
Okay.
I mean, that's a given. But of course, I'm sure after this episode, you're going to be attracting new fans. So,
I hope so.
What do you want people to get from this episode? What do you want people to learn about you? After you leave tonight's episode of Off the Top Rope.
Just keep your eyes open, because you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, like when I'm around, I guess.
I have to go back to the towel thing, because it made me laugh. I can see your face where you ask a student, "Did you bring a towel?" and they say, "No, Gabby, we didn't." And I can see you saying, like, "Dude, really? Like, seriously?
Really? Like, why did you bring a towel?" They're like, "I'm sorry. A towel and a notebook. I don't ask for much. Towel and a notebook." At least they're always remembering their notebook, so that's good. I'm now just gonna write towel in their notebook, and then they'll be fine.
It's wrestling. You have AEW, WWE, Impact, NWA. They're like the big places to be. But like you talked about independent wrestling. Now, and people that don't know in the indie scene for wrestling, do characters like does talent have like a lot of creative more say of their character in the indie scene? Like how if people are really want to get education tonight about how it works?
Yeah, I feel like they definitely have a lot more say for their character in the indie scene, but also maybe like only like certain like maybe some of the bigger indies, and this might be why they're become a bigger indie, is that like they have people there to direct them a little bit better. I've gone to shows where like just go out and do your thing, and like okay, and then and some people are like, I want to go in this direction with you, and you're like, cool. And then I have something to go with, and then we can build off of something, and get the fan, like if I'm involved, and the fans will get involved, and I think that's why some of the bigger indies are a reason that they're bigger indies, because there's more story, and you can push a character to different lengths and levels, and it's really cool. And
Now,
it's really awesome for the people that are in the back that have been around to show them the way to do things, that it's like so simple, and you're like, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, well, duh.
now, have you had the time where you're about to go out, the promoter is at the grill position, cheering you on, about to say, Gabby, go kick ass, like you usually do. Now, have you ever ran anything by a promoter where something about your character and they're like, I don't know, Gabby, you may want to like, because we were like, as a wrestler, I'm sure you think about ideas all the time. Did
Right.
you ever have something where the promoter was like, Gabby, I don't know if that's going to work?
Yeah, I feel like some of it just kind of depends like where they want to go, or if it's um so I kind of like they do like the one shot shows, which is kind of like a holiday show, or some of the smaller companies that run like once every couple months, or like their storyline's a little bit slower, so it's kind of like the storyline through the day. And if my character's doing something all year round and kind of evolving, by the time I'm at that show again, I'm like, well, let's go do this, and they're like, well, that's not where we left off before, and da da da, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but nothing was anything like too horrible. We'd always like combined ideas and go with something, but it was never like, don't ever do that, like.
Now, of course, wrestling, you say you never stop learning, and that's like absolutely 100, 900% true. Now, it seems like I would think of wrestling today with social media and everything, how wrestling's evolved around social media.
Right.
I guess can you say is it bad for wrestling when you're networking as a wrestler on social media, or is that a good thing? Like how can that like come into play as far as networking?
I think that's great. For the most part, I mean, some people can do it in certain ways, and I feel like if whatever you say and do on social media, people are going to believe it's you doing it. And so if you feel like this is you and your character doing it, or is this you doing it, they're always going to assume it's you doing it. And I feel like that's something about wrestling that people don't understand. Like, no, you are your character. So if you don't want that out there, that's on you. So just be careful what you say, and what you do. But I feel like it's also a great place, because it's like, oh, maybe I can't get to that state or that country, and I don't need to wait 3 to 5 months for a VHS to come available, and then I have to buy it and then see it and then become a fan and wait for another thing for it. It's like, oh, I can just type in a name and there it is, and a hashtag, and find people that I didn't even know that existed, and like, so I think it's a good thing.
Now, have you as of late? I mean, because the summer, I'm like, what happened to the summer? We're going on the winter time, which
Right?
oh,
It was like this year went by so fast and so long at the same time, because I feel like 2020 dragged into 2021, and then it's so it feels long, but then if you think about it, you're like, this was a really quick year.
now when you look at the whole picture of 2021 for the awesome performer that you are, how would you sum up in maybe a couple words how this year has been for you in the pro wrestling world?
I don't know. Maybe like I'm excited that I'm still doing stuff because I know there's a lot of people with the pandemic that actually haven't gotten a lot of opportunities, and I've stayed somewhat busy, so I was very excited for that. Um, but like a little frustrated because I feel like I'm kind of stale right now, and but like I'm ready to change things up. So we'll see where that
Now,
goes.
when you say change things up, I mean, I guess you can't let the cat out of the bag. Can you kind of give us an idea, or is it kind of like,
Well, I'm just, I mean, like I said before, like everyone's seen one side of me and this happy, hyper thing, and I'm very happy and all this stuff. But like, I'm very, like how you said before, like what do like promoters say about this idea? But I'm like, I'm very character driven, person, and sometimes they're like, they don't need to see you wrestle. Go out there and be you. And I'm like, but I'm a wrestler. What do you mean? So it's I'm not a main eventer because I am very character, and with my character I shouldn't be main event, but then they don't want me to evolve my character because they want me to keep my character the way it is, and I was like, I don't understand it.
yeah,
What?
that's like that's like being a wrestling fan. As long as I've been a wrestling fan, so I would think. So if you're character driven, so they want you in the mid card instead of being in the main event. I thought if you were a straight up like character driven wrestler, you would be in the main event. Like that's the first time I'm hearing
I'm kind of like Santino, I think.
that.
Like a Santino? No, maybe like a Boink the Clown. I don't know. Or a Doink the Clown. But I mean, I would love to be like a Cabana or Jimmy Rave or Thunder Rosa. Like these awesome people that got to have like these amazing matches, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" Just be you.
Well,
Like
I can definitely tell.
that's part of me.
That's the first time I've ever heard something like that. But you learn something new every day. But definitely tell me how you are. Like you're just character, like you being the main event. But the thing about it is, you're a tag champion, and of course you are the DCW Women's Champion. So you have all the hardware and accolades that
I like to think so. Like, so I this is my sixth tag championship, my sixth tag team championship. For 6 different companies, I was a tag team champ. At Shine, at WSU, at World One. There's yeah. I'm like, so I had a lot of tag team champions, and I've been plenty of like women's champions in the smaller companies around. Like I was the very first women's champion for the state of Maryland. They never had one. So that was pretty awesome. So I mean, I've done some pretty cool things. So I mean, I'm main event-ish, I guess, but I want to stay main event, like, and just go to bigger places.
or it could be the same. Maybe I'm just making this up, but I think it's true. Those that are great have to wait because you are great. Maybe your time, God has a plan for you to have that right moment where you are in the main event.
And maybe that's true. I'll just, I'm just enjoying the ride as I'm taking it.
Now, speaking of the fact that you are a tag champion, I got a little clip here. So you've had you've had a lot of tag champion. You're currently a tag champion with this lady. So when you see this picture, first response to this picture, I think it's badass.
Yeah, that is Valentina. She's awesome. We are dangerous but fun, and we are the Funhouse women's tag team champions. I'm excited.
Now, for you and Valentina, what do you think set you and her from the rest that you've been tag champions with? Is that something like special with you and her, like where it's like, man, I never had this with a partner?
Yeah, like so she's like the baddest chick on the block, and she's pulling that little bad side out of me, I think. And like she's wearing all the dark. Maybe there's a dark side in this little rainbow chick here. So we'll see what happens. But I like she's fun to be around, and she's a little fiery, and I think I need that in my life. So
well, here on Off the Top Rope, everybody, we are getting, of course, fiery on this Friday night episode. Like I said, I'm calling this TGIG because the one and the only Phillies, Gabby Gilbert, is live tonight on the show doing her thing. So, and if you have any questions for her about titles, who she's going to beat up next, we got the little comment section up there. So definitely reach out if you have any questions for her, because we are here till 6:30, and this is an awesome episode. If you're watching live, thank you very, very much. Now, Gabby, I grew up, of course, a Philly wrestling fan. You are, Philly made and wrestling. We know some badass wrestlers come from Philly.
Yes.
So I got to ask you, if you had to pick one, if you're an adult to a kid, probably your favorite wrestling moment in Philadelphia.
Oh gosh. Okay. That's a hard. I should have had this one written down. I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe my first show has got to be mine. Was it Philly? It was Philly. So long. It was Philly. But no, so apparently this is a story that my mother tells people. That. So my dad loves wrestling, and he would drag her anywhere, and she was just like, "Great, this is our date. We're going to a wrestling show."
Yeah, I can see that.
But they went to a wrestling show. I believe at the Spectrum at this point. I think that's what it was. So maybe it was NWA, maybe it was WWE. I gotta go back and get details. But yeah, so I guess apparently I kicked during that, and that's how my mom realized she was pregnant with me. So I guess she felt some movement down there at a wrestling show. I mean, what's better than that? Hey.
It's like how, like you said, your dad said to your mom, "Oh, we're going to the Spectrum." Your dad and your mom's like, "Great," because that's not dinner to a movie. But I mean, for me, my first wrestling event at the Spectrum was SummerSlam '90, so it was a pay-per-view for me. So, and too, man, you're not a wrestling fan from Philly. You haven't been to the Spectrum,
I know. I'm so mad I never got to wrestle there because they tore it down. Yeah. But oh man, I think they had one last random indie show before they tore it down. I'm so mad I wasn't on it. So that was a big regret in wrestling that I never got to wrestle at the Spectrum. But
and people forget too. I mean, the Spectrum was big, and NWA, WCW, they had the Civic Center, so each company had their own.
Right. So everyone had their own building and everything. But there was so much stuff. You could even if you watch ESPN classics, it'll be from the Spectrum, and then it'll just be wrestling from the Spectrum, and it was awesome. And I still watch that. So
it was just so good back then. It was on Prism, Spectrum Wrestling, and it was now if it's times changed. I mean, the Spectrum's gone. I mean, you had the Wells Fargo Center. The ECW arena, which is the 2300 arena now, I believe.
Yeah.
If people, what do you think currently right now is the place to be to go to wrestling in Philly? Because times have changed.
That's really hard because with the state commission and everything, it's hard. It's very expensive to run shows in Pennsylvania in general, which I feel that's why everybody's kind of going to Jersey. So I feel the Philly scene is technically in Jersey right now. But I mean, MLW keeps running the arena, and I they're hopping right now. So seems to be a good place to be. And they just started a women's division.
That's where
they just started a women's division.
Yeah. So
guess who's not on it?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You got it. That's all you. When you said that, I'm like, that's all you. So
not yet. Maybe in the future. We'll never know.
And you brought a really good point, because you said the wrestling scene is kind of going to the Jersey scene, because CCW, they ran at the arena and they're in Jersey now all of a sudden. So they're in Voorhees, New Jersey.
Yeah. So with CZW, actually, the funny thing is I just saw this wrestling fact, and I'm and I realized this, and I how things you don't realize until someone says it out loud. But CZW actually ran more shows at the ECW arena than ECW did.
I did not know that.
And for a longer period of time, right? Because ECW was there for 9 years. CZW is there for about 20 now. But yeah, CZW, PW, and Shikara all used to have their training school at the arena, and so I used to train with Trent Acid and Johnny Kashmere, and Gary Wolf down at the arena, and then I'd hop over to the Shikara school and learn with Hero and Sarah for a couple days here and there, and then I'd go over like to the CCW with Gulak and like learn there. So I mean, like it was a great place. Like it was such an amazing talent, like so many talented people in one building just for training, and then there'd be shows like every weekend for some company or another, and it was so I've got to wrestle at the arena a bunch of times for a few different companies, and I'm like really excited for that. So.
Well, when that time comes for you to be at the arena, you definitely got to let us know, because on the show I'll promote the hell out of that. So
Definitely, it's funny because it's like, well, when you were training there, and I would wrestle there so much, it's almost like you forget how special the building is, and so when other people come, they're like, oh my god, I'm finally at the arena, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like you always kind of like get used to it, and you're like, no, this is something special, and that's why I love like being around new people all the time, because it's like you kind of forget how far you came, and you just have to like look back, and you're like, oh yeah, I did do some awesome stuff. You know what I mean? Like I've been in Japan and Mexico and Canada and the UK, and I'm like, I want to travel somewhere. They're like, you've been places. I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about that. Well, if I forgot, it means everybody else forgot. It means I should go back. It's time.
now, you said a lot of interesting things about where you've pretty much gotten to this point in wrestling, traveling, and everything. Now, what's next on your travel list? I mean, because there's so many places you can still go to. So what's next on your travel list?
This weekend I have IWA Mid-South, and I'm gonna do the Queen of the Deathmatch tournament on Saturday, and then I'm doing the Double Dutch tournament on Sunday. Is that what it's called? So it's a mixed tag team tournament of death matches. I signed up for that. I don't know why, but I did. Gotta do it like once a decade, I did it 2007, lost, but hey, like I said, you never know. You gotta keep evolving, so you never know what you'll see out of me this weekend. This might change some things, right? might not all be rainbows and confetti after this. It might be bloody confetti, but I mean, it'll be confetti.
Well, actually, yeah, because I guess
the new colors.
This is probably
red.
I'm guessing this is probably like a hardcore match or something. Yeah. Well,
so I believe first round it's me versus Ludark. She's a luchadora from Mexico, and she does a lot of hardcore deathmatch stuff. So I'm a little nervous, but I think I'll be okay. Apparently our stipulation is home and garden. I'm hoping we have a pillow fight. I don't know. What do you have in your house? Kind of nervous. Like I'm looking around my house. I'm like, what is a home and garden? Like I don't. Was it a vacuum? Like what? I have no idea what's happening. No idea what's happening. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go and take a nap under a blanket, and that's gonna be my home and garden. And have a picnic basket.
Probably bring like a garden hose. That's the first thought.
I don't.
That
we will find out. Go watch this weekend, because we will all be surprised.
Now, Gabby, you've been doing some really cool things, and it's one of the promotions that people talk about. I hear about is Shine Wrestling. Now, what's one good thing that you can say about them, and for talent who want to go there, like why should they go there?
Oh man, like how I was saying before, like with good stories and like good booking, it's just a great place to be. Like all the girls are amazing. Sal is super amazing, and like I love how he just explains things. He's so passionate about everything, and you never like I don't something about him you just don't want to mess up in front of him. Like yeah, like I'm so excited to like do my best, and like it's the best girls in the world right there, and you want to do your best, and it's a really great show. And like they were running in Florida and in New York and in Chicago. But since the pandemic, I think they're just in Florida right now, but they should be doing other states again in 22. Yeah, 22. But yeah, they got some stuff coming up, and it's amazing. I was actually tag champs there with Luscious Latasha, so but maybe I should go back and get like, I mean, like, I'm a pretty bright and shiny person. I feel like a shine title should fit great around my waist. I'm just saying. So I mean, keep your eyes open. You never know what's gonna happen.
Now, of course, we're getting towards the end of this awesome episode of Off the Top Rope. So, Gabby, this part of the show, I got to put you on the spot. So you got to put the thinking cap on. So I call this segment, it's called Damn Ty, That's Pretty Good. You want to hear the question? So the question would be, you're running your own show in Philly. The thing is,
that's a dream that maybe will hopefully one day will happen, but go ahead.
What would the event be called using the word Philly, and what venue would you hold it in, and who would you wrestle in the main event?
Oh gosh. Well, one, if I was running it, I probably wouldn't be on it. I'd be too nervous. I have things to do. But now Philly, like, there's so many small places outside of Philly, which I think would be so great, and there's so many kids, so I don't know. But like, just because it's Philly, like, I probably would just do the arena, because everybody knows where it is and it's easy to get to. What would I call it? Philly's feisty female. Philly's feistiest females. I have no idea. Like,
well, you're getting there.
I don't know why it needs to rhyme or something in my head for it to be a show.
Feisty Philly Fight Night, or I don't know.
There you go. Feisty Philly Night, Philly Fight Night. Sure, that's a thing. I'm sure there was that. If you remember, there was Dangerous Women of Wrestling and like Women's Extreme Wrestling that ran in the arena. I wrestled for that, but they had some crazy names. So I mean, really, that one's not too bad. For off the top of my head, who would I wrestle in the main event? I don't know. That's so hard because I don't think I'd want to as many amazing people, like AEW and everyone in like NWA and Impact. So I don't want to use those girls because they are already special, and so I would have to find someone special that's not signed, or at least so who would I wrestle? Oh my gosh, just have like a big battle royal and I wrestle everybody. I don't know, that would probably be it. And then
I mean people, I think fans love battle royals. People get thrown over. So I mean, I really think a battle royal, except the Royal Rumble, has been the main event in the past. But I think a battle royal, that'd be pretty cool for like the main event.
Right. And then like the last two, it just turns into like a regular match where you can get pinned or submitted or whatever. So I don't know who that would be. Mother Endless is pretty awesome. She's crazy and scary and fun. So maybe with her. But I don't know, there's so many good girls on the scene right now. I don't know. No, I'm gonna say somebody, and then I'm like, oh no, this person, and then this person, and then I just want to wrestle everybody. That's just a goal in wrestling. Just wrestle everybody and check off my list, right? I need to get all my 50 states, and I need to wrestle every single person that's wrestling, and then I'm good.
Well, Gabby, that was a really cool answer. That was like a Friday Night Sizzling answer. Now,
Friday Night Sizzle, nor is that like a.
Now, the biggest question of all, from 1 to 10, as we end the show tonight, in the future, 1 to 10, would you ever come back on Off the Top Rope again?
Oh, 10, definitely. Wait, 10's good, right? Yeah, 10.
Good. So 10. Everybody wants to know. You talked about your matches coming up. Everybody wants to know events, any special projects, who you beating up next. Pretty much everybody wants to know what's up next for Gabby Gilbert.
All right. Well, this weekend again, I have IWA Mid-South. I have Queen of the Death Match, and I have the Double Dutch Death Match tournaments. I have November 14th in Maryland for C3W/Belladonna. Belladonna is like a women's division that's down south, and they actually have like helping companies get like women's matches on their shows. So that's really awesome. So I have that coming up. Bloodstorm Pro is coming up November 21st in Jersey, and like this is definitely a show to see. They are amazing people and like such a good card. And like if you are a metalhead, this is like your place to be because bright and shiny rainbows. Where else would you be besides at a metal concert? But it's like a great wrestling show, and there's so much good talent on there, and like no one will be disappointed if they go to the show. I swear. And like so that's a show to go. Bloodstorm Pro, go to that one. But also we have CZW coming up, and so we got some of my good students are on there, and I swear they're already becoming stars like right away, and they're definitely people to see. So like Vinny Salata, Boom Harden, Mother Endless, Aaron Ash, like these, and Ari Abbott, like these kids are amazing, and keep your eyes open for them because they're rising top really fast. I'm excited.
I have to say, CCW seems to be really a real ground for wrestlers. I mean, John Moxley, Layla Hirsch. I mean, people that went through there, Sammy Callahan. CCW has been like a big platform for wrestlers to really get to that promised land. So
yeah, definitely. And it's just I think part of it is just like such good talent in Philly and the Philly area goes there, and everyone there is just, they work super hard and they just love wrestling and they love every style of wrestling, and I think that pushes them too. It's not just like, oh, we're gonna do this and whatever. It's like, no, they'll learn all of it, like, and they want to learn all of it. And I swear sometimes like my kids know more than I do. But they work so hard and they are so amazing. And I'm there. Jimmy Rave's always helping. Nate from the rep, they're there. Like, and it's such good talented people. Like Matrick from WWE, he's one of our students. So we just have this great bunch of people that come through here. So if you're looking for a school, come on down. I have a bunch of girls that are coming on my days now, so I'm excited for that. So we'll see. There's going to be a new group of people. I'm excited.
Well, you said the biggest thing, of course, when it comes to that list of great Philly wrestlers, you are definitely, for me, like top 5. So you got to, you are.
Thank you. And I didn't pay him to say that, I swear.
Well, Gabby, I got to say that thank you very much for coming on the show. But most importantly, good luck in all your upcoming matches. Stay healthy, be safe.
Yeah, be healthy and safe. I hope I don't die this weekend. Why did I sign up for this? Watch me die this weekend.
Nah, I think you'll be fine. But I definitely, it was an awesome show tonight, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun.
It was a really cool Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, you just watched, like I said, TGIG. I changed it up tonight because this was a Friday night. You had to watch Off the Top Rope. My live guest tonight, the one and the only Phillies, Gabby Gilbert. Gabby, thanks again.
Thank you.
This is your boy Ty Asbury. Thank you for watching this episode of Off the Top Rope. We out of here. Have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch the best wrestling podcast around with some sizzle, it is Off the Top Rope. Yeah.